Hello, I'm Doug Bell and this is the Hot Rod Show. Check this little beauty out. It's going to be on the show later on. Oh my goodness, that is just beautiful. Also on the show, we go out and about cruising in Cambridge. Then we're off to Casper to meet some guys who actually do give a shift about your transmission. Plus our shed visit tonight is all about midgets. No, not a whole bunch of Bradens, but some little midget cars. Now, let's get back to Ken's shed. Hey, Doug at the Hot Rod Show here. Look at this. This is a 1962 Ford Galaxy. We've got a little mascot sitting in the car already. Braden's been kicked out of home, you see, so he's got to live in this thing. Don't you, Braden, or you'd like to live in this thing?
No, I'd like to live in this thing. Would you like to come visit?
No, I wouldn't.
Good, because you're not invited.
Braden's a homely boy. You know, if anyone's got a home or a kennel, anything. Anyway, this car belongs to Kevin, and Kevin's around here. And Kevin, how you doing, man?
Good.
This is a beautiful example of a Ford Galaxy, Kevin. You know, I know you bought it like it is, you know, painted and everything like that, with the wheels and so forth on. But I tell you, it has a bit of a luster to it. You know, when I came in before and saw it, that gold around the bottom, it makes it like hover on the black and white tiles.
Yeah, it's pretty popular, the colour, that's for sure. It's one of the reasons I bought it.
Yeah.
It stood out. Yeah.
Where did you buy it from? Did you import it or buy it locally?
No, the guy I bought it from just lived across in Albany.
In Albany?
Yep.
Wow.
So, yep, it was a local car. The original people that bought it in from California, the gentleman that bought it in died, and his wife sold it on to the guy I bought it from.
So now you're the lucky owner?
I'm the lucky owner, yep.
Look, check these taillights out. This thing almost looks like it's a rocket ship wanting to take off. It looks beautiful, Kevin, doesn't it, eh? You know, like, have you ever followed your car, you know, going down the motorway at night time and seen someone else drive it? Not preferably
no,
a thief.
I haven't actually. No,
but
my wife won't drive it.
These things do look pretty spectacular, you know, like with those taillights. We want you to look in here and check out the dashboard. Now, and the steering wheel, like this is one of the things that really took me when I saw this car for the first time. Like, look at that. It's just beautiful. You know, I'd have too many accidents pretty near looking at the dashboard instead of looking at where I'm going, because I was fascinated when I saw that the first time. You know, it was just, because you don't see a lot of dashboards like that. I guess I'm you know, not like John Key, I don't pull ponytails, I just like looking at dashboards.
So to the engine, Kevin, you've got running a 352?
Yep, 352 FE.
Can we pop the bonnet and have a look and tell us a few things you've done to it, or a few things it's warmed up with?
It's pretty standard, really. All I've done to it since I bought it is new radiators. The guy that I bought it off had put a Gilmore belt drive on it, the alternator.
Yep. You're saying that was a bit out of whack?
Yeah, we've had to do a bit of work in there because it wasn't running quite true.
Yep.
The pulleys weren't aligned properly, so we've done a bit of work with that.
There should be a horn.
So, yeah, otherwise, that's about all we've done under there.
Doug says there should be a horn.
There should be a horn.
You're a good enough horn.
There's a horn,
Doug.
right there. That wasn't working when we got it either, so that's all fixed and working now.
Make a horn noise for us, Doug.
Honk!
There we go, you got a horn.
Yeah, we've changed the thermostat in it because the thermostat was way too high because it used to overheat
What's
if you
like,
ever stopped.
Yeah, like with that, what's like going up steep hills? You know, we've got a lot of steep hills in New Zealand, a lot of single lane roads where it's pretty mongrel to get past things.
I can sit in traffic for hours on end and just turn on the electric fan, not a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Good music system in your car?
Yep, pretty big music system. Yep.
Right, Kevin, well, looks like Doug's disappeared, but how about we give a listen to your sound system? I hear you got quite a good sound system in this.
Yep. Again.
Oh, I feel good! On the new speaker system.
Well, your sound system's a disappointment.
That was
cool,
lovely in there.
So
There's a lot of room.
This was in it when you brought it?
This is all in it.
Not me.
I bought it as well.
The car had to come for free if you remember.
Yeah, I know.
Well, how about we give your motor a start up, Kevin, and give her a rev up, and you can hop in the bonnet this time if you want, Doug.
I can. 1 more horsepower.
Thanks, Kevin.
Wow. That there's a classic example of a two-door pillarless 1962 Ford Galaxy. That's two-door pillarless, they're pretty sweet.
Very good.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Thanks for coming along.
Thank you very much.
Bringing
Thank
your
you,
car.
Kevin. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get some sweet light on your sweet coupe in your garage, you need a Century battery. So here we go. Negative, positive. Woohoo! Here we are with Michael and Dommy of Casper, the two guys that run the show here. And I'm going to just speak to Michael now. Michael, thank you very much for allowing us to come in to your business today. It's been terrific.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you.
Dommy?
Nice to have you here.
Yeah. Like, Casper, Casper's a real institutional name when it comes to transmissions and cars and that around Auckland. You know, I've known this name since I was a teenager, and you guys have a great, a great following out there of people who like to bring their cars here to be repaired.
Yeah, well, we've been doing it for a long time, longer than I've been around. So, yeah, Dominic's been running the place since when? 19?
We bought it in 1976.
And how old were you?
I was 19 then, but I started work there when I was 15.
Yeah.
I sent the guy broke, so I could buy it cheap. So that was the deal.
I started working when I was 5.
When you were 5?
Yeah, I was 5. So
you got photographs of you in the
I do have photographs of me in my overalls. So, yep, no, I've definitely been working there since I was about 5, maybe even earlier, I think.
Yeah, because like when your transmission packs up on you, say you're a wife or a husband, you don't know a lot about vehicles, and something goes wrong, you're a great place to call.
Well, we try and make it as easy and stress-free as possible because we understand how difficult it is. It's expensive, or it can be expensive, and it can be stressful. You're out your car, and not a lot of people know about what we do. So we try and educate the people and make it as simple and as stress-free as possible.
Well, here we are at Casper's, and I'm standing here beside Ian. Hey, Ian, how you doing?
All good, mate. Very good.
Ian, this is a pretty interesting looking gearbox we got here. Can you tell us just a little bit about it, and then we'll get into what you're trying to do to it?
Alrighty, this is what they call a 4R70W. It's Ford's product.
You're a big Ford proponent for transmissions, aren't you?
I am for transmissions. I used to be a Chevy man from way back, but transmission-wise, Ford have really got the best to me in the business, and especially this 4-speed. This lasted from 92 through to almost today in F-150s. It's a strong trans. It started life as an FMX, really.
Yeah.
Way back, and the gear train is the same, and then they just made it into an overdrive trans. It's probably our most popular one. We fit to all these sort of vehicles.
And so what you're doing to this? This
just stripping
gearbox?
this one out first. This one we bought in especially. It's a very late model one. It has much harder shafts in it. This will withstand 1,000 horsepower, no trouble at all.
That's pretty. Well, that's a lot of power in it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it needs a bit of work to do that, but the gear train itself will certainly withstand that, and we upgrade all the clutch packs in it, and heat-treated steels and everything in there, and they certainly do the business. So they've been very good to us.
And yeah, so like let's say this will stand up to 1,000 horsepower. But what is it? Like the shafts that you mentioned and the clutches, that the main bits that allow it to do that.
Yeah, it's a very good design to start with. They had a bit of troubles in the early 80s with their intermediate box, a bit like a 700 R4 was to Chevy. And then of course they moved on in the early 90s once they got electronic control of the box, and then just much better machining and better shafting and stuff here.
What's your hat got on it?
That's my other passion. Yeah,
I've
got a new Indian and another Harley that I tool down the drags occasionally. So yeah, that's the other passion. But this is our mainstay, and
What we'd like to do now is come over and have a look at a Falcon here, and like what I want you to know is that they take 2 and 3 speed Falcons and they move them up to a 4-speed transmission. You know, and really get something classic going on there. So let's go for a wander over here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, here we are safely standing underneath this Falcon with Ian, and Ian, we're going to talk about the transmission and what you've done and how you've put it in there, and we want to show the people how well you've put it in.
Sure. This is an AOD, so it's the earlier model of that one we were just talking about. A lot of people want a 4-speed. It gives you an overdrive transmission, much better fuel economy, and cut those revs down while you're cruising. So Adam's our main fitter. He's fitted this. We've taken obviously the old 2-speed out. This is an American Falcon, had an old 2-speed in it. We've fabricated up the cross member. Just really fitted the trans. The trans itself has had a lot of modifications done to it, which I'll show you in that other trans upstairs. This is probably around about 500 to 600 horsepower capable trans. He's getting a new motor built as we speak, and that's going in before he gets the car back. So, but we run all properly mounted and good cooler lines, and you know, it's a real professional job.
It ain't no cowboy job.
No cowboys here, mate. Yeah. You know, we put heat shielding on everything that's needed, and it goes out good. Yeah.
Wow. We're going to pop away now. I'm going to have a look at one of these transmissions all pulled apart up in their performance area. Hey, Doug Bell here from the Hot Rod Show, and we're here with Murray Kemp and his beautiful midget car collection. How you doing, Murray?
It's very good, thank you.
I've got to shake your hand, otherwise people don't know that I'm actually welcoming you onto the show.
Probably one of the genuine cars that's been in there quite a long time. This is number 20, and this is actually owned by an Australian owner. And whenever he flies over, I prepare the car, get it down to the track, and we run the beast.
Now here we are with a couple of TQ midgets in Murray's collection. Murray, can you tell us a little bit about the blue one?
Yes, this is running a 650 Yamaha engine. All your TQs are basically a smaller version of your midgets, and running motorbike engines. Yeah, this one was made in 1973, and it did originally have a cage. Well, it was originally made without a cage, and then later a cage was fitted on it for safety around the 1975 era. But we were quite legal. We could take the cage off it and run it without a cage.
The red one here, there's a particular story to this one. This is your little baby, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. This one probably was my first midget.
And here we are, Murray, with a very famous car by a very famous Kiwi.
Yes, yeah, this is a Barry Butterworth 21 car. Barry's sort of campaigned this for probably about 3 years, and initially it came out with a V4 Chev in it, and the V4 Chev was made by getting the V8 Chev and chopping it in half, making a special crank. And but unfortunately, Barry got a lot of trouble out of the V4 Chev, and later on with it, he decided to put in this Volkswagen. It's an Eurocraft engine, and once again running about 250 horsepower.
Well, Murray, sadly to say, we've got to leave you.
Yes, no problem.
Thanks to Kiwi Span New Zealand, we've been able to come here and have a look at your collection of cars, man.
Thank you.
This is beautiful, Murray.
Yes, no.
Thank you so much for doing this. You know, it's like, we just hope, you know, people who view the show can see this and that they want to come and have a look at this too.
Yes.
And give you some support with it.
Yep,
It's
no
terrific.
problem, no problem.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's about it from Murray Kemp here and his beautiful collection of midget race cars. And now we're walking into the most secretive place in the building. Ian's hiding away in here. This is where Ian likes to hide away a lot of the days. Hey, Ian.
Mate, you can get a good sleep going on.
Well, look at this, say. What an amazing array of bits and pieces you got in here.
Yeah, it's nice and quiet and nice and clean up here, so it's a really good place. You need a bit of quietness now and then. Some of the stuff gets pretty technical.
Look, what do we got laid out here? What are the bits and pieces?
This is another 4R70W we're doing for a guy who's got around about 600 horsepower. So we'll be fitting Alto Red material linings to that sort of a trans. That's Alto Red there as well.
And is that like a top brand?
That's kind of your intermediate, 3/4. The very best is this, is Raybestos Blue. Very, very expensive. They're about $30 each.
How many of those go into an automatic transmission?
Oh, you'd put 6 or 7 into one pack, and you've got 4 packs. Okay. So, you know, it can get carried away. Yeah. But the beauty of it is this Raybestos Blue can withstand horrendous temperatures, and that's what an automatic transmission does. It produces a lot of temperature. So, Alto Red, very, very good in your high-performance street use. But if you're going super serious, Raybestos Blue.
If someone wanted to get silly and put that in just a regular street car, would it go in there, but it'd just be a waste?
Yeah, just a waste really. You wouldn't notice much difference in shift feel because you can tailor shift feel anyhow you like with these transmissions. So
now, what's this piece here? What do you call that?
So this is the later drum. This is the reverse drum as such, but it also has the second brake. Now this is where they get better than Chevy in a way. The Ford Trans has 2 brakes on this particular drum. It has a band like Chevy has, but whereas the 4L60s use the band for second and fourth, Ford uses a one-way clutch, mechanical one, they call it a mechanical diode, one-way clutch and a clutch pack on here for second. So you've got your band and your clutch pack.
Just more strength.
Yeah, well, you give you a much nicer second gear. 4L60s struggle with second gear. We buy very expensive hardened drive shafts for these Transes, which that's where we can get real horsepower without twisting up shafts and things. So.
That's an actual key piece of the whole transmission?
Very key piece, yeah. That's your forward clutch grabs that, and your high clutch is grabbed there. So it is an absolute key piece.
So like all the everything that's going from the engine to the back wheels is hinging on these.
For third and fourth gear.
On those, just on these
those splines.
These small splines.
Absolutely.
That's incredible.
Yeah. No, when you look at it, you kind of wonder how things happen, but. The power that is, that you can get out of these is unbelievable. So it's just good steels nowadays and hardening and everything else has come to that sort of thing. So
well, I know very little about automatic transmissions, but to think that little piece there with those small splines is what's doing it all.
Probably first and second gear would tear it to bits. But that only has to operate for third and fourth. So you're already doing 100 mile an hour by the time you hit that thing. Yeah. So while it still has a big job to do, it's not as hard as first and second. So
What's this thing behind you? I know it's
yeah, I've got something.
it ain't a deep fryer.
I got something cooking for you. This is an ultrasonic cleaner that we use on our valve bodies. A lot of our solenoids and things go in here. It heats the cleaning fluid as well as run an ultrasonic sound through the fluid, which I'll kind of show you. I've cooked one up for you previously.
Yeah.
It's still a little warm, so we won't get too carried away. But you can see the finish that you get out of that valve body. It's just spotless.
Here I am standing beside Ian, and we're talking about a Chevy transmission. This time we've heard everything about Fords and how good they are. We're going to hear a little bit about Chevys and how good they are.
Yeah, absolutely. No, they're good. This is a 4L60 or a 700R4. Later on they went electronic and called them a 4L60E. This is just pump and reverse. Ariel's just stripping it out here. It's going to go through their hot wash machine behind me there. And then it'll get a lot of upgrades. We keep a lot of upgrades for these too. Obviously Alto red frictions again for a lot of the packs.
And they have the carbon ones as well?
Absolutely, and we have wide power bands for them for that second and fourth I was talking to you about.
And so, like that's a power band?
Yeah, that's your second and fourth band. We get one that's a wider band, but it also has Alto red material on it. So that gives it a lot more heat capability. We keep in stock new beast shells and reverse drums, which are quite often worn in these transmissions. So you can do major upgrades to these. They're not quite as capable horsepower-wise as what a 4R70W would be, but you can do so much to them that you can take them up to those levels. When we get real big levels, we go to what we call a 4L80E. We've done a few race trucks with supercharged Chevys in them that are running 4L80Es very successfully. They're a real agricultural transmission.
Ian, you talk a language like it's from a different planet, I guess, to some people listening, but it's incredible.
Oh well, it's been a passion for a while. You know, I've been a mechanic all my life, but you move on from servicing cars, and you need something that you love to continue on. And I really enjoy transmissions, so you just learn about them and what they are, and away we go. All those silly numbers that I could never remember. Yeah,
that's pretty amazing. Like there's so many bits and pieces.
Yes, there's a lot to these transes, but in saying that, this is actually kind of old technology, so a modern trans will scare the hell out of you. Yeah, but it's still, that's what keeps you interested. So,
well, there you go. Now we've done a Chevrolet trans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, it's a windy day, and we're here in Ken's shed filming the Hot Rod Show, and we have in our studio today a 1933 three-window coupe. A Ford three-window coupe, and like this coupe just epitomises the early 1960s, the 1962 and 60s, so forth around there for hot rods. Braden, would you like to
we're here
introduce
with Lee. Thanks for coming along, Lee.
Hi,
Can I give Lee a round of applause? So tell us about how long you've owned your 33 for, and
I bought this car recently, always wanting a hot rod, and this one sort of suited my attire, so along it came, and yeah, it was all pretty much built by a hot rod shop in Whakatane, by House of Hot Rods.
oh, that's where we're from. Good old Whakatane.
Yeah.
So Tony
House
House
of Hot
built
Rods,
this, and yep.
That's like she's pretty straight lined, isn't it?
Yeah. They build good hot rods down there, and get all the lines right.
Like your chassis, you got Kiwi Connection chassis?
It's a Kiwi Connection frame, yes,
Yeah.
which is built in California.
Yeah.
And it's got a 350 Chev with fuelie heads and roller rockers.
Have you spent a lot of money on the engine?
I haven't done-
Did it come as
It pretty much came as a package
Yeah.
the way I bought this car, so
Yeah.
it's a pretty drivable, reliable hot rod.
How about we take a look at your engine, Lee, and
Yeah,
show our viewers what you're running? Wow, that white's really nice. Eh?
That white, yes. Like I know, it's like with the Zeus tabs, you know, it's I know I should Google it sometime and see where the Zeus tabs come from, but they're pretty good to use, aren't they?
Yeah, maybe I should Google it too, but
Yeah.
it's commonly used on drag cars
Yes.
for clipping panels on, which can be easily removed, and same sort of application for this.
Like the you know, when I noticed, you know, like you got a drop Super Bell I-beam axle there. It's like it's about a 4-inch drop. I mean, that's very traditional, you know, like early 60s hot rodding, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It just, as I said before, just epitomises, you know, the early 60s hot rodding from California.
That's right. Something you find the Beach Boys all hanging around with their surfboards. And yeah.
Like, also, like with 33, because, you know, this is a 33 3-window coupe, but the really only distinguishable bit, you know, something like this between the 33 and the 34 is the 33 has a
curved grille,
grill, and the 34 is straight down, isn't it?
That's correct.
So do you know what the colour paint is, Lee, or is it a custom?
This is an emerald green, and it has a Roth metal flake in it.
Oh yeah, so because I see you've put it right through the interior and everything, if we can go around and have a look at that.
Yes.
You've kept the same theme colour right through. Wow.
That's correct.
Wow. So this was all done as you brought it?
Yes.
They did a fantastic job on it, didn't they?
That's what you call tuck and roll, correct?
It's tuck and roll, yes.
Tuck and roll upholstery.
And if anyone would like to know what a tuck and roll is, Doug, can you demonstrate a tuck and roll?
Tuck and roll.
Wow, look at the detail.
Yeah.
Gear knob.
Like, check out the gear knob, like the paint effect. And once again, notice the dashboard. A beautiful, it's called, what's called SANS, S-A-N-S, means very little there. That's beautiful.
Wow.
And like, all that white, you know, tuck and roll you got under the dash there, easy to keep clean?
You're cleaning all the time.
All the time.
More than driving it.
Yeah.
So, Lee, one question I wanted to ask you is, have you ever seen Star Wars?
Yes, I have.
Do you think Doug looks like Chewbacca?
Yes, I think he does.
Give us a noise, Doug. Anyway, back to your car. So, bit of the history you were saying, you know, about a bit of the 60s theme. Can you elaborate on that for us a little bit?
This is the sort of hot rod you'd find in the 60s, where you're running cross-ply tyres. Back in the 60s, you wouldn't find a lot of available parts to build a car like this back then. So most guys built a car in their backyard out of a whole lot of bits and pieces, took mud guards off their cars. So this car is based on what you'd find back then, what your home builder would be building and driving around the streets of particularly California, where the hot rodding scene was prominent.
Now, just before we move around to the back of the car, to have a look at the boot, which you're sort of finding out that I have a bit of an affinity to boots as well. Just want you to look at the bonnet and all the louvers here. This has got 120 louvers. You brought this out from, the bonnet's from America, isn't it, Lee?
Yes, it's a root lib hood, yes.
Now, this is very, very traditional, you know, early 60s hot rodding, if anything was, that louvers everywhere. Now, I just want to come and have a look at the boot, because the detail that Lee's got in the boot, that's, you know, followed right through from the front all the way to the back with the tuck and roll upholstery, is, look, it's just magnificent. I could easily climb into that one, but I don't want to.
Dreams are free.
Yeah, it's just a dream that I wouldn't fit probably, but that's a beautiful looking boot. Man, get a load of that tuck and roll, that's all the way through the car, and that's just amazing.
Well, Lee, how about we start her up and
yeah, sure.
move her up for the guests and our viewers. Well, thanks for that, Lee. Thanks for bringing your 33 coupe along.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks so much, Lee, for bringing this car on, man.
Yeah,
really appreciate that.
Thanks.
This is, you know, we're showing off some classic elegance in hot rodding here, classic styling from the early 60s, a cruiser from the early 60s, 62, you know. I mean, it's a classic show tonight, folks. And we're finishing the show this week with these two beautiful cars leaving the set, and we like to give them a little bottle of Mother's Polish to drive off with to keep their cars shiny. And Lee, well, I'm sorry, but you've got a very little window. We've got to give you a little bottle.
Yeah, Kev.
I hope you don't mind that it's small, but if we bring your Cadillac back next time, we'll give you a bucket. Okay. Thanks, man. It's been great. Okay. So long.
Thanks for coming, Lee.
Woohoo! This episode of the Hot Rod Show is dedicated to Peter Dore.